Hello and welcome to Movies, Films, and Flicks. I am Mark Hoffmeyer, and joining me is a real sexy beast who, after watching Zone of Interest, felt like it got under his skin and it birthed the idea for this episode. It's Johnny Numb.
Mark, I just watched The Substance last night, so I know all about birth. And to quote Reanimator, birth is always painful.
Like multiplicity, never clone a clone.
I was like, no, there's it's yeah. It, I was wondering what degree of effed up that movie would get, and I was pleased at how effed up it got
Yeah,
for
well, I
for
mean,
sure. Yeah,
it goes there and it's
yeah.
wonderful. And it's funny. It's a 2 hour and 20 minute movie, The Substance, but by the end of it, I was laughing. But
Oh, it is so funny,
yeah,
so funny.
and by the end, it has to be that long though, because it kind of has to drive you into the ground,
Hmm.
and then it has to become funny. So
Hmm.
it's yeah, I love it. That well, we might have to cover that sometime for our feel good series because
I
woofta.
I will be it's a movie I'll definitely be picking up when it comes out on Blu-ray.
I hope
Yeah.
I hope Demi Moore gets nominated. Margot Qualley's great. Everyone's just the practical effects, the squishy. It breaks the record for squishy noises.
Oh my God, yeah. Yeah, so much squish in that movie.
So
Uh yeah.
we're feel good series, Johnny Numb. This is our feel good series. We've been doing it for almost 5 years now, and
Wow.
this might be one of the ultimate feel good movies that we've
Hmm.
talked about. Like for me, maybe all the movies I feel like the house that Jack built is like it's a serial killer, but it's also funny and it's just
Hmm.
dark. And then this movie is like very man, it's like claustrophobic and it's just a nightmare. Like First
Hmm.
Reform goes there. So I feel like this is the perfect movie, Johnny Num. So I want to thank you for recommending that we cover this because I didn't know if I wanted to revisit this movie.
Yeah, and this is something we've talked about off mic before, but when I first saw The Zone of Interest in the theater, it was at my local art house that I periodically mention on this show. Shout out to Midtown Cinema in Harrisburg. But I was sitting down front, like in the front row. So I told you I was like seeing like the little dots that comprise the image kind of because of the digital projection. So I was like kind of distracted by and the fact that the film is often most of it is in broad daylight. So you see those little dots comprising like the sky, the white sky, the white in, the walls or whatever, just everywhere. I was kind of like, man, it's like I can't quite. It was weird for a movie like that and not to be able to kind of it kind of broke. I don't want to say it broke the illusion in a
Yeah.
way, but it
Yeah.
was like I knew I it got to me in a way that I was like, I want to watch this again. So when A24 was like, hey, we're gonna give you our fancy A24 Blu-ray or 4K, pay us suckers, I immediately hopped on that because I wanted to watch it. I wanted to watch it again.
And you know what's so for me last year when the I'm part of a critic group and I made sure to put it in as many categories. I even put it number one in cinematography. Like no one
Mm,
nominated
mm.
this thing for cinematography, and like the sound mixing, of course, needed to win
Oh
because it's
yeah.
incredible sound design. But they set up 10 cameras and they just let the actors exist within the scenes in this movie. But here's the thing: they didn't just slap a camera on the ground, right? They didn't
Hmm.
just slap a steady cam on somebody. This is all static shots on tripods or the occasional dolly shot.
Yeah.
And it's just it's such a the director Jonathan Glazer called it Big Brother in a Nazi house.
Oh.
And it's just watching these people exist and without like a certain artifice. There's the only time that I felt the artifice in this movie is when all the extras were on screen during the parties. Like some of them weren't great and it kind of
Okay.
wrecked the illusion for me. But I gotta say, this is one of the rare movies where I watched this thing and I was like, okay, first when I watched it, I think Megan and I immediately went and looked up the cinematography.
Hmm.
Then we immediately went and looked up how they did the sound mixing. Then
Yeah.
we immediately went and looked up the production of the film. And then I immediately went out and watched, like we had watched Anatomy of a Fall. Sandra Hüller's 2023 was incredible.
Mm. Hmm.
And
Yeah.
I wanted to figure out her body language and how she walked because it's so different from anything she's ever done.
Hmm.
And then I also wanted to research the infrared, and then overall, I just want to read about the zone of interest in Auschwitz and the Husses.
Hmm.
And this is one of those movies where every level of it is top shelf. Like this is
Mhm.
a beautifully constructed film that had to be exactly this,
Mhm.
or it would be really bad. Like this
Yeah.
is a tight walk, a tightrope. And Glazer and his crew and his cinematographers and his sound mixers, they did it. Like they really made an interesting, dynamic, occasionally horrifying, bleak, at moments for me, darkly comedic
Mhm.
film. And it's the epitome of a feel good film because it's just you're living in such it's just horrendous,
Yeah.
but like it's important too. Like I think First Reformed that we've talked about is important. Like
Mhm.
I think there are movies out that come out that are important to talk about and important to watch. And this is one of those. I just love it.
And I think something you said, Mark, that you kind of wanted to maybe hit on with this particular episode was you wanted to talk about something that might be a little instructive, or maybe in this case, cautionary in a way. Like, so I was thinking, well, how much more real does it get than a Holocaust movie that sort of inverts what you're used to in a Holocaust movie. Instead of presenting sort of the what we typically see is the POV from inside the camps, from
Yes.
from the prisoners. Or in something like The Pianist, you take Adrian Brody's POV, as he tries to escape. And in this, it's very interesting, and striking and stomach churning, and I think horrifying in that it presents, you know, uh, the Hosses, they're living in this basically chateau that bumps right up against the camp of Auschwitz, and they're raising a family,
Hmm.
you
They
know,
love it there. Well,
oh yeah. Oh, one of the okay, not to get too ahead of ourselves here. One of the cringiest scenes in this movie is where uh
the lipstick.
not the lipstick, it's Hedwig. Hedwig
Oh
is
gosh.
Sandra Huller's character.
Yeah.
When she is riding Rudolph. Not to make a Santa Claus or whatever, joke, but she's like, oh well, he's being told he has to transfer someplace else, and she's like, oh well, we're raising our children here, we got to stay here. She's making it sound like, well, I have to stay here, well, you can come back from the place you're going to. It's basically like, I love this place. You can't make me leave my house. What, who says? Take it up to Hitler. Tell Hitler that we don't want to leave here. It's like, it is so like, it was a very a Lady Macbeth moment in this movie, I kind of thought. And I was like, he's just standing there. He's like, yeah, yeah, kind
Struck.
of like just like staring out, and he's listening, but he's like, what am I gonna? He's like, I've tried like two times to get some sort of stay or whatever, and they've denied it. And it's, oh,
And I love
I
that structural changes that force him to leave. Like it's
yes, yeah.
bureaucracy that forces him to leave.
Hmm.
And she's over here like, I have a perfect life. But next door, they researched that 80 some people were executed every day. And so they didn't want to overdo the gunshots in the sound
Hmm.
design. So they just had 80 throughout the day.
Yeah.
And like people are being murdered. There's smokestacks, there's dust, there's jawbones and rivers. And she's like, but I have a garden, I have kids, I'm not moving. Like
Yeah.
it's horrifying.
Hmm.
I kind of laughed a little bit. It was like it's structural changes. Like you're just listening to the like
that that that
logistics
that
of
that
the Nazi
boiler
party.
that boilerplate that boilerplate language when you get like a Dear John letter or something like that, kind of, yeah.
Oh, and I was reading about Sandra Hüller because I think she's a revelation in this movie,
Hmm.
and she's incredible in Anatomy of a Fall too. But
Yeah.
she wrote that she didn't really want to do this movie, and she her first idea was to like she wanted to keep the character in constant motion. So when you watch Hedwig, she's always moving, she's
Hmm.
always going because she never sits still. She doesn't
Hmm.
want to sit still because I think that she'll think about what's going on,
Oh, okay.
and
Yeah.
like she didn't want to make something lazy, and she didn't want to make like non-German filmmakers just Germans are like straight up fascists, and she
Hmm.
didn't want to
Hmm.
fetishize its subjects. But one thing I got from her
Hmm.
is that she said that it's really uncompromising and specific, but she said the feeling was related to a revenge in a way. She said, "To make Haas as empty, dull, uninspired, and stupid as possible," she said. And she talked about how she's always in constant motion, and she also said that she wanted to, like, she's struggling with feminine grace, like, she wants to be beautiful and she wants to be elegant, but she
Mm.
would never have the capacity to do that. So she likes diamonds, she likes fur, so she just steals it from people, and she
Yeah.
checks the linings for free stuff.
Yep.
And like her walk, it's slightly crouched, and so Hewler said with her legs clumsily far apart, she's like, "It was a very practical thing. I thought
Mhm.
about the many children she had given birth to. I thought about her hips and how the work in a garden deforms the body when you are bent over all the time and carrying things. When I look at it now, I played her as an older woman than I am." So even though this movie, like when you watch the behind the scenes of this film, they always talk about like they wanted like objective, they wanted to observe, they wanted to be modest, they wanted to be
Mhm.
simple. They didn't want to like, the reason there's so many wide shots and no close-ups is because it can like manipulate you. The
Yeah.
way you shoot something can manipulate you.
Yeah.
And so while the camera motions and the Big Brother and that, like Big Brother TV, they're real worlding them.
Mhm.
It
Yeah.
the way she performed it still, even though it's an objective film, it's still her trying to get revenge on Hedwig. And I love that about it because Hedwig's a monster.
Yes,
Uh,
she
I
is.
and the scene where she yells at the people working in her house, she's like, "I could have your ashes spread. I'll just
Yeah.
tell my husband." It's horrifying. She's one of the scariest characters
Mhm.
ever, and I think that's all Hewler. Like, if there would have been a false note in her performance, it would've it would've killed the movie,
Yeah.
but she is so natural and she thinks about it. She says she thinks about it all the time, and
Mhm.
when she's telling her husband about that, like, after reading her interview, then watching her again, it's like Hedwig is a marvel of performance. But I guess my thing is it's so good and it's so like there's no, I know why she got nominated for Anatomy of a Fall. It's big and there's dialogue and it's
Mhm.
great. This one's like this performance is so good. I don't think people knew how good it was.
Mhm.
That was a long talk about her, but I love her in this movie.
Well, Mark, it made me think a little bit as you were talking about her and her choices, her acting choices. It brought me back to the scene that I brought up at the beginning where they're standing out in that little dock. But the whole lead into that is
Hmm.
Rudolph. He leaves and says, "Oh, I have to get the kids flip flops or whatever." They're out in the dock, so he leaves, and I think she sort of rants and raves for a couple of minutes, and then she leaves out the gate, and there's this great shot which
Oh
shows
man.
which shows how much she does not give a shit about what's going on around her. She is like stomping like past the camp, and we're seeing the camp on the other side of the wall. She is driven to go to her husband and say, "I want to stay here." I'm like, this is insanity. This is like, you are so evil, lady.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm just like, not that her husband is not evil or the kids or anything. It's just like it's such a messed up perspective uh that this movie takes on, that we kind of are like, oh, it's like you're kind of like thrown back when you remember, oh, they're Nazis. They're doing horrible things, but the way Glazer presents it is like, well, what if it were just this, what if it was just a civil servant, going about his day? Like Steven Soderbergh could make a movie just about some guy like me who sits at a desk all day, working for state government. And he could probably make it pretty fascinating, knowing him. But it's kind of like almost like that Soderberghian approach, kind of. Well, I think Soderbergh maybe does kind of the reverse. He takes things that are innocuous and kind of makes them, builds a sense of excitement around them. I think Glazer kind of inverts like the potentially sensationalistic or even sentimental aspects of Holocaust films, and he just kind of like he sucks the blood out of those conventions, kind of, which makes the zone of interest even more profoundly disturbing as an experience, I think.
And you are 100% right. And it's the Holocaust. There's no way to get around it. It's horrifying. So
Yeah.
no matter what you do, it's horrifying. But I think you don't want to fetishize it. And so
Yeah.
if you're making a Holocaust film, don't fetishize it. Don't make like, don't. don't have, it's not like torture porn, all right? Like it's not it, there's so much suffering and it's so evil that you could just sort of start navel gazing and just make everything caricatures and uh, I think this way because what's interesting about the Nazi party, like they didn't just happen overnight. There's a book by Eric Larson. He also wrote Devil in the White City. It's called In the Garden of Beasts, and
Mm,
it's about William Dodd. He's America's ambassador to Germany from 1933 to 37.
okay.
And the whole time he was like, guys, hey, this
Yeah.
this is not good. This is happening over here, guys. Like, you don't want to mess with this. This is bad. So I mean,
Yeah.
we're talking it's 43 when this movie happens. He's there in 33. So this was a long time of how Hitler just like brainwashed post World War One Germany.
Mm,
And
mm-hmm.
like I think this movie is important because it shows that side. It shows them talking about, these aren't people anymore. They are workers who, they don't want to go up the chimney. They are cattle that you have to transport in trains. They
Mm-hmm.
are people that you need to make new crematoriums in so the subjects can burn faster.
Oh my
Like,
God, that whole
yeah,
conversation. Oh
it's
God.
it's
Yeah.
evil. And
Yeah.
but like they show how desensitized it was. They show how
It's business.
complicit. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
business. People are making money off of this.
Mm-hmm.
And it's crazy how many resources went to it. And it's just everyone was complicit. It was this era of like if you say anything you're dead. So
Mm-hmm.
everyone just went with it. And it was just this evil time, but it didn't happen overnight. So like if this happened overnight, Hedwig might like but the whole thing, like she just wants him. You're right. She is very Lady Macbeth. She's like, no, and you need to be here. We're not leaving. My family's here. You need to do this. You need to do that.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Uh, Man, it is, and it's so hard. Like, there's a scene where he's just like smoking cigarettes, and it's a gorgeous shot. And when he's smoking the cigarettes at night, they didn't use any lights for this. It's all
Ah,
natural light. There's no
nice.
lighting. That's why they did the infrared
Okay.
because they couldn't light it at night. And like,
Ah,
there's this
yeah.
gorgeous shot, and well, they use light obviously because there's light in the house, but like they went the Deacon's route and just did practical lighting, not
Mm-hmm.
like, but yeah, he's smoke. But then the smokestacks in the back are going, or
Yes.
people are screaming and getting shot, or people getting drowned in rivers
Mm-hmm.
and I think the best thing he does in this movie is that there's like 3+ minutes of silence and black screen and music to almost take you there. Like it primes you for it. And like the way that it fades into red screens, black screens, like it I think everything he does just creates such like an oppressive and you're almost shocked at times when she's sitting there with her fur coat and her lipstick
Mm-hmm.
and
Yep.
like, oh yeah, her husband beats her, but like they got these like young people, and then they're like, oh yeah, we got these Dutch ones. You can take your pick, and then we see Haas with like a young girl, and that yeah, like I guess he has sex with her, then he has to
Oh,
go put
oh
her up in his
yeah.
basement. It's like this thing's crazy. uh, but you don't
Yeah.
see death, you don't see crying, you don't like. There's no, you know what I mean? Like there's no evil. Everyone's evil, but there's no
You don't see the
mustache
act. Yeah,
twirling,
it's like you don't see the actual acts happening. None of
and
the actual acts are you hear them and there's heavy implications, but as far as like what we're accustomed to and you know I'm familiar with even in the 70s, the just as an example, the Ilsa films were like hugely successful exploitation films, which were totally took the most I don't want to say exaggerated, but they took the most purely exploitative elements of the Holocaust and turned them into fodder for like horror movies, like torture
mm,
porn, and this doesn't, this is completely divested of the desire to be like, oh, here, let's show a bunch of prisoners getting shot or whatever, it's we've seen Schindler's List, we've
yeah,
seen other, we've gone through these, we've had
son
these
of
units.
Saul.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I will say
So,
Ray Fiennes' character is burnt in my memory because every child had to watch that movie when they were way too young because teachers were lazy
oh
in the
yeah.
90s.
Yeah, I watched
Uh,
it in high school. Yeah.
and he was just super evil in that movie. But I
Yeah.
guess, but what's interesting about, Hedwig and oh gosh, the Hosses, I will say.
Rudolph.
Yeah, Rudolph. They like Rudolph is just he goes to a party at the end. And he's like, I wanted to know. I was just wondering how to gas everybody.
Yeah.
You know what's crazy though? So I worked events for many years. So I would go to concerts, and I was at Taylor Swift's Eras tour. And I'm like, how did they load in here? I was like, what would that? And whenever I'm at Comic Cons, I'm like, what's the ticketing? Like, how do they do this? And so
Hmm.
this guy, I think everybody with their job, they think about things, but this guy's gotten to a point where it's like, I just want to get, and he probably would, like, he would probably kill all these people.
Hmm.
Um, he's like, I want to gas them all. Like, that's, uh, it's just, it shows like, I don't know. This movie's so measured, Johnny Numb, that
Hmm.
like you could have one line or one moment could have just knocked you out of this thing. But like watching him say that, or like, what, like, jawbones are
Yeah,
floating in a river that
there's
he
this.
was directly responsible for,
Yeah,
and then he's like, oh, I'm worried about my kids. Like he's worried about his kids, but he's not worried about the 400,000 people he's murdered.
yeah,
It's crazy. But do you think stuff like this? Okay, I have a question, Johnny. Now
yeah. Please.
you make the most like emotional kind of exploitative film about the Holocaust that gets seen worldwide,
Mm.
right? Many people cry, many people have tears. It's just it's melodramatic, it's big, and a lot of people watch it. But then you make the zone of interest where it makes you think about the other side and makes you think about how it happens, and just it's a fly on the wall, and it gets you thinking like, hey, what am I engaged in that I'm not thinking about? Like,
Mm,
what is going on in the world that we don't know about? Like, it's,
yeah.
I mean, like, which this one will never be seen by as many people, but I think it's might be a little bit more. I mean, both will raise awareness, but I think this one's maybe a little bit more important to like start conversations with rather than emotions.
Yeah, I mean, I think something you said about the fact that Glazer didn't want to do a lot of close-ups or any close-ups in this movie
Hmm.
sort of speaks to kind of the. I think it speaks to a meticulousness on his part, and it's also kind of, you're right. He doesn't want that. He doesn't want people to be exploited by, oh, let's feel bad for these people, let's feel bad for the Hosses because they're having their struggles, even though they're responsible for this horrible genocide that's going on basically on the other side of their wall.
Yeah,
Um,
you never feel bad for them, which is
yeah,
nice.
yeah, it's more like just this to this degree that they've been so invested in this, and in their own way at such a distance in a way that they've completely removed any humanity from what could be going on from it. The scene where the kid is banging on a drum in his room, or and you hear, because he's mimicking the gunshots outside.
Mhm.
That's like, well, to him it's like that's not real. He doesn't see, I'm sure he's not seeing any of the atrocity because he's sort of walled in. He's young. He's not yet joined the Hitler Youth like his older brother has. So I think it does kind of raise that sort of question, that does raise that question mark. It's like, damn. And sometimes I think in my own personal life, it's like there is so much going on in the world, like all angles of it. There's so many injustices, there's genocide, there's bombs and everything like that. And I think in some ways my mentality as I've gotten older is, you would be one of these people. Like, I would help the people that I care about. I would do what I could if you suffered misfortune, like if you lost your house or something due to a flood, like people down south were. I would be like, hey, what can I do? You know,
Mhm.
you need money, you need food, you need podcasting equipment. Mark, I got the hookup.
Yeah, send me some Yetis.
Yeah, this is it's just like, and maybe it's an, I don't know, maybe it's a heart hardening kind of thing on my side of it, because it's like, I see there's horrible things, I see there's effed up injustice in the world, and but we can't be everywhere all at once. I don't know that making a tweet really helps change things. I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't know. It's kind of this difficult position where I'm like, I like to, I at this point it's like, I got to look out for the people I really care about that I can do something for.
I mean, what
Um,
what can we do? And you can also think like this, Johnny. And I'm like, the world has been killing, like people have been killing each other since day one,
oh
since
well,
they existed.
that's true.
And
Yeah.
like, there's always been, like, I'm not saying it's right, but I feel like there's always been wars. There's always been death. There's always been eh, every culture, every has just warred and killed and
Yeah.
uh, taken over lands and murdered and uh, our country was built most countries are just built on death.
Oh yeah, blood.
And then you're kind like I but that doesn't make it okay. I guess it doesn't for me, like, sometimes you're like, yeah, our world is chaos. And so
Hmm.
you can't just completely ignore it. So I guess you just gotta be aware of it, not spread misinformation, and be there for the people who you can help. Because you and I can't solve the conflicts overseas, but I guess we
No,
can be
no.
aware of it, right? And I think, yeah, I mean, like, my heart goes out for everyone out there. Like, it just I know we're getting this movie is tough to talk about, but I'm glad we did because they're in such a different situation too. Like if you and I were these people, these Germans, and we just ignored it, then we're absolutely complicit.
Oh yeah,
But I
yeah.
mean, we're just people in Georgia and Pennsylvania, and we're just trying to do the best we can. So, but
We're trying to figure this stuff out too. Yeah.
yeah, exact and
Yeah.
but that's what's crazy about this movie, and some people said it's about the banality of evil, but I don't really agree with that comment.
But please, yeah, please tell me, Mark, because honestly, that is the cliche that kept going through my head continuously during this movie. But yeah, yeah, tell me your thoughts.
Well, it's just like, banal is like something's not original or it's not fresh or it's stale, and like that's not what this movie is. Like I
Hmm.
don't think it's about the banality of evil and how they're living their lives because these are people who are horrible.
Yeah.
I don't find anything boring about what they're doing. If you look at it, like she's staying busy all the time. She smokes a cigarette with that guy she's working with, probably just to have some interaction. Her mom shows up, her mom leaves. I mean, this woman is, she has to be so consumed in her garden and everything. Cause I don't, like, I think she just doesn't get it. She's in straight up denial. And then
Hmm.
Hoss, man, like he just wants to kill people as efficient as possible. He brings
Yeah.
his bloody boots home and they get
One of
cleaned
the Yeah.
and it's horrifying. So I don't see anything like, yeah, this wasn't just this wasn't just me and you coming home and watching TV. Like
Hmm.
these were two people who were evil. Like
Yeah.
there's no way around it. I, and so I don't find that to be not like I don't find the banality in that. I find this to be kind of horrifying and like just watching how they carp wait carpament wait what why is that word
Compartmentalize.
compartmentalize. Jeez Louise. Their
Yeah.
lives and how they can separate that. And the dad's like worried about his kids. He's like, I won't be there for your graduation. I won't be there for this. And then they're pretending to be totally normal. This isn't just a family who's like, you have a terrible stepdad and everyone pretends it's okay because you're worried about the stepdad. These people are committing genocide and ignoring it.
Hmm.
So for me, like, they talk about so lacking in originality as to be obvious or boring. These people aren't boring. Like so it's like this is the head of Auschwitz. This guy, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't everything he does is just it's like getting in the headspace of this person.
Hmm.
Um, like when Ray Fiennes went home in Schindler's List, if he was still as evil as he was in every moment of that movie, you'd be like, what is happening? So it's kind of interesting to watch the quiet moments, the objective quiet moments and what they're doing. And so when people use that phrase, and sometimes listen, I think phrases like this just spread. Like I think
Hmm.
one person says it, then another person says it, then it's in every review.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I just didn't see it like that.
I think maybe Mark, if I may,
Yeah.
I think maybe it's just a bit of a perception thing. The way you were looking at it, because I was thinking more banality, perhaps in banality in the fact that the way it's presented is like their day to day existence, the way Glazer films it. Like if this were, say, you remove the Nazis from it, you made it like the Steven Soderbergh movie where it's just like two people, the civil servant and his wife and his kids, in Indiana or someplace like that. I think it's more like the banality perhaps is the way he chooses to present their existence.
Yeah,
It
no, yeah, yeah.
in that, and that's I think how I was taking it. But I'm not that's not to say that your take is wrong, because I understand what you're saying there too.
Yeah, I mean, listen, he absolutely I mean, in the behind the scenes docs, that word came up.
Yeah.
Like they
Yeah.
didn't want it to be thrilling. They want it to be as naturalistic as possible. And
Hmm.
in Roma, the director, he built all the sets were real. So like the non-actors could walk on concrete, actual concrete.
Mm.
They could their bare toes could feel concrete. They weren't in sound stages, so the performances were more
Hmm.
naturalistic. In this film, they built the house, they built the garden.
Wow.
So the extras who showed up, they put the 10 cameras out. There were no sound guys, and so they were able to just exist and play and be surrounded by 10 cameras on tripods that were taken out digitally. Some of them,
Hmm.
and it I think his way of doing that captured such naturalistic, I guess, performances. And so yeah, like they're not going in the camp, but I mean, I still think the way he's given you things that make your blood boil though. Like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, we are going to talk about the furnace. And obviously they're not making evil jokes. They're just referring to human beings as people things to process. But you also have the scene where he finds a jawbone. You also have the scene where she threatens her, Hedwig threatens her worker. You have the gunshots in the
Okay.
background. It's like
Yeah.
there's the mom being there. That there's like a moral center. Like the mom is clearly very German, but when she's there, she's like, "This is not good. This is evil," and she leaves.
Well,
And
and something I like, Mark, not to cut you off. I like the fact that there's apparently a note left by the mother, but we never get to see or
yeah,
know what was written on the note, save for Hedwig's reaction to the maidservant.
burns it. Yeah, she like yeah threatens the maid. Oh yeah, like are you? Oh man,
Did you leave that there to spite me or something like that? I
no,
was like, what is going on here? I was like, you really are the worst lady. You're you're
she
you're, you're terrible.
she's a bully. I mean, whenever she gets angry, she lashes out at her underlings
Yeah.
and wants to kill him, and she probably would kill him, and she
Hmm.
wouldn't care.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess the way that you do capture them isn't exciting. It's not subjective.
Right.
There's a lot of close-ups. Some like the evil people aren't all wearing shades of red and black and they have giant hats. They
Right.
wear the black
Right.
hats.
Yeah.
Uh, but I think it's an interesting thing because he's showing a very objective thing, but there are some horrifying situations he's putting them in.
Yes.
Like there's no situations where kind of like one of them just taking a crap or reading a paper for 30 minutes, like, or just walking, like in
Hmm.
a Gus Van Sant film.
Yeah.
So I think
Right.
it's definitely shot in an objective manner, but the situations make your blood boil really well. So he
Hmm.
does things that purposely like get you like holy crap. So I
Yeah.
I I guess in one way he did it very objectively, but there's also once you watch it again, there's a scene in this movie where like Rudolph is pissed and he's like really worked up. And he's like,
Hmm.
guys, all USS officers, stop messing with the lilacs. Like stop. He's like, if you they bleed. And he's like, and if you want a
Yeah.
lilac, do it in a way that doesn't hurt bushes. This is a man who has killed hundreds of thousands of people, and he's pissed off that his SS officers are hurting plants. Like,
Hmm.
that's so darkly humorous almost. Like, it's so
Absurd.
yeah,
Yeah.
absurd, and, like, he loves horses, he loves dogs. It
Hmm.
just that scene where she's pissed off about her house, and she's doing this dolly shot that would make Wes Anderson jealous to, like,
Hmm.
yell at her husband while people are getting murdered.
Yeah.
Uh, and but I think they do a good job of, objectively filming it, but doing enough to really this isn't just a there's eating dinner, you know what I mean? Like, there's certain situations in it
Yeah.
meant to frighten you and piss you off and to be absurd. Does that make sense? Am I making sense?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, I think there's definitely this weird not weird, it's just this provocation that's coming out of the story, out of the content, out of these characters. Like I think the scene you were talking about a little bit ago, Mark, where he says he has to leave, like he can't get a stay and he has to leave. He's telling his kids, "I'm not going to be around for whatever." And I think that's his birthday, isn't it? And there's like this sort of slumped cake sitting in front of him, even while I'm like, it's just this very weird. It's like you're killing all these people. You have a cake in front of you in this nice dining room, whereas like probably 80 feet away, people are getting shot. It's just I yeah. The weird thing about this, something I like is when a film kind of takes you up, takes you in a trance kind of in a way, and you're kind of emotionally moved as well as viscerally moved by it. I feel like this is kind of one of those films. It kind of casts a spell, and you do get provoked by this stuff, even though it's like not the way it's done is subtle.
Yeah, yeah,
It
yeah, yeah.
it's the subtlety of it that, like, sneaks up on you, and it's like, "Oh my god, this is so these people are so detached." Like, okay, oh, it's just I don't even know where to go with it. It's just I don't even know what to say for it. It's just unconscionable is would be a good word for how these characters are.
He's reading Hansel and Gretel about people being burnt, in an
Yes!
oven to his daughter. Uh, and
Who's none who I mean, that kid is young, so she doesn't know.
but you know what's interesting? It's a movie that's really hopeless, but also there's some hope.
Mhm.
Like, when Sunbeams is performed on the piano by the
Yes.
Polish girl, when she's out there doing the infrared, and this is a real woman he met who died before filming, but she would go out at night and place food for the workers. But the reason it's an infrared is there's two reasons. One, they didn't want to use any lights, and
Mhm.
he's like, there was no lights, so we couldn't do that. Like, we can't just make up moonlight. So
Yeah.
then what they said was, we're going to do infrared, and they found some army technology that they used, and there's no lights being used. He's like, what's the only tool that exists where we'll be able to see something our eyes couldn't? And he's like, you're
Mhm.
not seeing light recorded here, you're seeing heat. And he wrote, there's something very beautiful and poetic about the fact that it is heat and she does glow. It reinforces of her as an energy.
Mhm.
So what he wanted to do is they use military FLIR cameras. And so what they wanted was like, she's a light. She's a light and she's
Wow.
glowing. She is hope. So it's like this movie, even the infrared, people are like, I hate it. But if you think about it, she's glowing. She has the heat. There's humanity. Uh, and then that song is performed. And then I don't know. I just think he does a really good job of adding a little bit of hope in there, but then also making things so, you're right, so subtly terrible.
Mhm.
It's like when I think the first time I watched it, Hansel and Gretel, I think I maybe caught it, but this time I was like, oh man, like he's reading Hansel and Gretel through
Yeah.
through
Yeah.
this, and but that's a testament to Jonathan Glazer.
Mhm.
I mean, this is a guy who, I don't want to, Under the Skin is incredible. It's this movie about this alien discovering life and just meeting a horrifying end, and
Yeah.
it's just gorgeous. And Scotland looks gorgeous, and the
Yeah.
motorcycle shots are gorgeous. But what's interesting? It's like a movie where like Scarlett Johansson's naked a lot of it,
Yep.
but it's so good that people aren't like, oh yeah, yeah. Like they're like, no, this is art. Like this, so this is a guy who can make a movie like Under the Skin or Birth with Nicole
Uh-huh.
Kidman.
Wow.
This guy
Yeah.
and Sexy Beast, Ben Kingsley's one of the scariest people I've ever seen in a movie,
Mhm.
and I think he can make this one work because he just has a way of taking really challenging subject matter and sort of grounding it or making it palatable or not making it salacious.
Yeah.
And I deeply respect him for that because the one thing I want people to get out of this movie is that a lot of work went into this. Well, I found this amazing quote, and he put, a lot of work goes into achieving simplicity. You end with simplicity, you don't start with it.
Mhm.
And so to make it so simple, I mean, listen, these actors are incredible. Sandra Hula, Christian Friedel, like they're incredible.
Yeah.
The naturalism that they were able to achieve with the 10 cameras and making it, objective, that's so much work. And
Mhm.
every actor had to rehearse and they had to live in these spots and just so much work went into making this seem like not a lot of work was made.
Yeah. Yeah.
And every shot, if one shot was subjective, if one shot was leading, like that R. Kelly interview where the interviewer, she's bathed in light, and then you pan over to R. Kelly
Oh,
and he's
yeah.
just like,
Yeah.
not, yeah, like that's a way to get you to think. Like this doesn't do that, but
Mhm.
it does it in subtle ways, and it's never like salacious. I don't think it's never over the top, and so that's why I really appreciate him as a filmmaker
Mhm.
because he does things that a lot of people can't do. And I think this movie, some people said this movie was boring. This was one of the least boring films I've ever seen in my life.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
thrilling and it's horrifying.
Yeah. Yeah. I could go on a rant about our current culture of criticism where it's like the letterbox school of, oh, I started playing on my phone 5 minutes into it kind of thing.
Mm.
Just we're more desensitized by Marvel movies than we are by the horrors of the Holocaust, apparently. But people are not. I feel like there is a lack of patience these days. I feel like I like sitting with a movie. Well, in quotation marks, I like sitting with a movie that's gonna take its time, that's gonna kind of unravel in a way. It's going to unravel, show me what it is, and just keep going. That's how I felt about First Reformed, which is kind of a quieter, more meditative film, I think. And definitely this one. It's kind of like you're not. This is another one where it's like, what's going to happen next? You have no idea where that camera is going to cut away to next. What incident or what character or what landscape we're going to see next, or why we're going to be seeing it. Things are really just kind of revealed in this movie, and I think Glazer kind of parcels it out, and I find that interesting. That's what I find interesting is even we were talking about the substance at the beginning of this show, completely different from the zone of interest, but that's another movie where I was sitting there thinking, okay, what's it going to do to shock me? Because that's what I've been hearing about. And it's like, is this going to bore me after like 2 hours and 20 minutes? And I was like, no, this is one of those movies where you have like this gremlins set of simple rules to follow. And if you don't follow them, well, you just might mess things up to a terrible degree. Um, and it'll be awesome to look at. That's the substance. That's not the zone of interest. The zone of interest is more like just, I like that slow reveal of things where you can't predict where it's going to go. You think one character is evil, well, you're just going to see how much more evil they get in sort of this understated way for the rest of the movie, and how dehumanizing it kind of is, and how disturbing that dehumanization is, despite not seeing any explicit violence, uh, bloodshed. you know, the only prisoners you see are the ones who are used for labor. Yeah,
This movie's yeah.
it's like they and something I thought was interesting, Mark, was I looked at the poster for this movie because watching it again, I was like, what does the title mean? And I guess the zone of interest is just that
The
insular
area.
that insular zone that they created for themselves, basically, in that chateau. That's their world. Therefore, that is the zone of their primary interest.
Yeah, and they secured, so the Germans secured 40 acres of land, and then they built the camp. But that's originally what they said the zone of interest was.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah,
didn't know that.
it,
So okay.
yeah. So like that was but it's both. Like it works on both levels. It's
Hmm.
like that was the zone of interest, but in their lives, what's their zone of interest? Like you keep insular, you keep within yourselves. Um,
That safe family, that's space you associate with family, warmth, love,
mhm.
all of that, like your home, that old saying that your home is a man's home is his castle or whatever.
And that woman was like making her baby smell the roses, like just, but
Oh
it's so
my gosh.
clumsy. And but you know what I like though, when she goes off on her Polish workers, the thing I liked most about it was that you've seen that before.
Hmm.
Everyone's seen someone get mad and yell at someone lesser in their minds,
Yeah.
in the lower ranks than them.
Yeah.
Like it's like even when you see that, you're like, oh, that's bad, but it feels so familiar to it. And it's like everyone has that coworker they don't like. Like I don't know if many people like Haas. Like remember when they give him his job back, and the guy's like, "Don't worry, man. He won't kill everyone. You'll still get your people." Remember he said that he won't
Yeah.
send
Yeah.
everybody up the
Exactly.
chimney,
Oh, yeah. Exactly.
and
Yeah.
like because he needed 25% labor, they needed 20% minor labor, and like they're talking about the trains, and like I think he's the guy that everyone's like, he's just gonna kill everybody. Like we need to be careful of him.
Yeah.
He's a it's like in that small scene you could see his coworkers were even like this guy's crazy or this guy's
Hmm.
bloodthirsty, but I don't
Yeah.
think you have to be outwardly insane to do that. Like this guy is just looking at his job and doing it the best he can. Now he's evil, like this guy, I don't even know what to call him.
A, s-
Haas.
a
and
sadist. I
and
don't
it
know.
and he was killed, like he was found guilty, and he was hung in 46 or 47.
Okay.
So that's good, like he was in the Nuremberg trials.
Okay. Yeah.
But it's just listening to the conversations is horrific. Like, cause that's never really happened. Like, okay, and these conversations before, like, oh, so they're here. This is what we got to do with them. We'll move them over here. Then we'll kill them. That,
Yeah.
like, and they had to have those conversations about logistics, though. When you think about all the trains running through Poland and Germany, and like
Yeah.
the amount of logistics that thousands of people had to talk about to move these people to kill them,
Hmm.
like but like in those meetings, you're not all mustache twirling. You're like, wait, well, how's that train track? Are we being invaded there? How much help do we have there? What's the work over there? Like you're being oddly clinical and mathematic about just murder,
Yeah.
but you have to be. So it's interesting to see that.
Yeah, it's like, well, humanizing these people that you're using for these horrific means that would greatly, undermine your bottom line, basically.
Oh gosh, yeah, yeah.
As horrible as that sounds, that's the truth of that matter. It's awful.
And like, it happened, and
Yeah.
I want to talk about something real quick. Is the
Please,
sound?
please.
Like I feel like the sound saved this movie. Like not saves it, but
Oh.
this. So Johnny Byrne, um, he talked to Jonathan Glazer, and he said that Glazer wanted to reflect everything through sound. And so what happened is Byrne, he had to become an expert on the sounds that would have been emanated from the camp in 1943. He said,
Mhm.
"We saw it as being two films, one you see and one you hear. We made the family drama film without any sound, and John and I spent 5 months deciding where to apply the sound of the camp."
Huh.
He did some research. We approached the job scientifically. You had to be accurate with the distance and volume of sound. There were 80 executions a day during that period by gunshot alone, outside of random acts of killing in the chambers. So we had to decide how often we should have portrayed without sensationalizing anything. Like if there's just gunshots every second, that would
Oh,
sensationalize it.
yeah. Yeah.
And you know what's crazy? So he's like, there's a shot of Hans. He's mimicking the sound of the crematorium that he can hear outside the window.
Mhm.
He's like, using stuff at home with a chimney, flames, and implements. I made something that matched the rhythm of his voice. And then it's interesting. They put the sound over several scenes, but if you listen to the movie, he's like, and we stretched it out to become an endless sound heard in the background. We were surprised by how well it worked, but it allowed us to remove some more sensationalized elements that had previously been had on there, so you can hear the hum throughout the entire movie. And this is the craziest part. We went to Auschwitz and measured the distance between the garden and Block 11. Once we had that, we found a firing range on the Isle of Wight in the UK. It was quiet and not near a busy road, says Byrne. It had a line of buildings which provided the slopey, echoey sound that made the sound really credible. So they went to an area, they recreated how far it was, went to another area, recreated the sound, and added it into the film to not be sensationalized and be as real as possible.
Wow. That is blowing my mind right now. Just that is so wow.
Yeah, and so there are 10 hidden cameras, but he's like, sound wise, there are 20 microphones in place that moved according to the sounds that needed to be captured. He's like, there are no boom operators. We wired the house with 3/4 of a mile of cable and had base microphones absolutely everywhere, predominantly in the ceiling, pointing down at the areas. We had them on gooseneck cables so we could make sure that where the actors were going to be in the next take, they would be pointing in the right direction, so they knew where to point the mics. And he said he's most proud of a scene that comes early in the film when Hedwig walks out into the garden. It's extraordinary because you haven't been out there yet. You're visually amazed because they walk out of the house, down the steps, and you're in the stone brick wall of the courtyard. You hear a buzzing sound, and you see the electric fence. There are gorgeous sunflowers, birds, and grass. And as the camera pans, you hear different sounds from over the wall, 5 meters away. Placing those different segments of pain and suffering is enormously effective. I love it when they walk through the garden. It's an amazing contradiction between idyllic life and what happens over the wall. So the
Mm,
amount of thought that they put into the sound, the camera work, the amount of work the actors put in to this, it's crazy. And I think you have this is the thing though, you have to do that for this movie. There's no way around it. It would be lazy to rely on a melodramatic, sensationalist, subjective thoughts
yeah.
if you're making this movie, not in general.
Yeah.
But I think from a filmmaking perspective, this is a gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous film that
Mhm.
gets people thinking.
Yeah, and I think maybe you've like kind of hit the nail on the head there, Mark. It's just like that's kind of what I like. I like a movie, not to say that I don't like my 3-star movies that are like comfort food to me, that I need to like watch something like I don't know. I'll speak out and say I actually thought Borderlands was fun. So that's like a 3-star movie for me. that's a movie I could probably watch anytime I'm feeling like crap and feel better. So, you know, something like that has its place. But something like this, if I want to sit down and kind of like soak in a movie, kind of, and absorb a movie and think about what's going on and think about my place in the greater scheme of things as a result, it's like I love that, That's kind of what I love about the movies we cover on this series, because it's usually stuff that leaves me like, oh man, where do you start talking about these movies? Because there's so much to talk about, because there's so much that they make me think about. And I think that's a good thing. I think that's a powerful testament to the power of cinema
And
in general.
the only problem with Zone of Interest is I think how many people who worship at the altar of, Marvel and other films will this bring forward?
Hmm.
Probably not a lot. And so you're probably wowing cinephiles who know how to appreciate cinema. So you're making an
Yeah.
incredibly important film, but you're doing so in a way that it will open a few eyes. But you know what, man? This is a movie that deserves to be watched and it deserves to be appreciated and respected. And I guess when Glazer makes it, you can't expect the world to get behind him. But I mean,
Fall in, yeah.
but I mean, he won Oscars. They won at Cannes. They like won everywhere. Like
Hmm.
everybody who loves movies knows this movie is quality. So that's a big win for it. But I think it's kind of important for people to watch. Like I think it's important for people to watch and think about. Like there are nuggets that can get in your mind here. And I think those are some of the best. I think movies that hit you over the head with a hammer, you don't have to think because it told you everything and it made you feel everything and you don't have to leave and talk about it. But
Right.
movies that like incept an idea in your brain, those are the
Hmm.
movies you talk about
Yeah.
because you want to process what just happened.
And
So yeah.
so no, go ahead.
No, no, no. Just I think it's good to like I think movies that you need to process and talk about are the best.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're like zone of interest, and it's kind of fascinating to me because this is a PG-13 Holocaust movie, which you don't typically see unless it's ironically Life is Beautiful, which won the Oscar like back in '98, I think, the best foreign film Oscar. Yeah, I don't mean to say this in a pejorative sense, but I almost feel like, Mark, this is a movie I could see you like showing clips of in your class,
Oh yeah,
for
yeah, yeah.
certain things. And I don't mean to say it, it's like, oh, it's like a stuffy art film that is only good for educational purposes, though I think in the sense, if you want to enrich kind of yourself and your perception, kind of, I think it's a good film to watch. You know, I think there is truth in it, and how things are depicted. It's just not depicted in a way that we are sort of conditioned to see this type of subject matter presented in. And I think that might be a deterrent to some people who might be a bit more uncertain towards it. But yeah,
Listen, when I talk about sound and camera work, I will bring this movie up and it will be but see it deserves it. Like this is a movie that does something important.
yeah,
And I think those are I like movies that move the art forward. And no, not all of them could be that.
no,
Like if you think about like how many how many incredible athletes have there been who have just broken world records and like changed the world of sports? Not that many. So I
hmm,
mean, you can't expect that from every movie. And sometimes it's tough to just teach those movies because it just places things so firmly out of your students' scope.
yeah, it's like, oh, he's showing me this. It's like, oh, this is educational or whatever.
Yes,
Yeah.
Mark, 2001 is good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Um, but what's important about this one is the sound and the camera work and how to get an objective performance. That's
Yes.
a teaching moment. This
Hmm.
movie on every level and any level could be used as a teaching moment for anybody looking to get into the game.
Hmm.
And that's why I think it's also important. This is a movie that you could teach somebody how to mimic. Get GoPros, right?
Yeah.
Set up a camera. It teaches you how to use wide shots and be objective and use those shots towards your advantage. So
Hmm.
and it's not out of people's league. Like you and I aren't recreating 2001. I think
Oh
it's
no.
more important to show like stuff like Do the Right Thing when you paint red walls red. Like that's
Hmm.
as simple as that to make it hot, or Primer made for $7,000, or this. Like those are the movies that provide, I think, the best teaching
Oh
moments.
yeah. Yeah.
And then, yeah, this is definitely one of them. And so, hey, I know you have a lot of notes. You said you took a lot of notes. So, is there
Mhm.
anything you wanted to cover? Is there anything you wanted to ask? Because
Well, well,
I
you
don't want to, I don't want to waste your hard work, Johnny Knows.
You know, something I did want to bring up, Mark. Well, I wanted to go back to your comment on the sound and how the film opens with kind of the black screen, but I love that ending.
Oof.
What do you think of that ending where he is by himself and he at one point he stops, he looks down an empty dark corridor, and we cut to, and this is I think it's really interesting, and I don't think it takes me it doesn't take me out of the movie or anything. Glazer cuts to modern day workers who are opening up the actual chambers that still exist at the death camp. They're doing their morning routine of cleaning these like totally blackened inside chambers where people were gassed. They're cleaning the areas where ovens, once stood and where people were burned alive. These displays of like children's shoes and everything. And it's just this cleaning crew who are going about their their kind of their job. They're doing their job, which is to keep this horrific monument to man's inhumanity to man kind of there in a those who don't learn from history are condemned to repeat it kind of way. What did you think of that choice that Glazer made with that? Thoughts?
I have one note, and I wrote great.
Yeah.
And I'll expand upon it. It doesn't take you the infrared doesn't take you out of the movie. That doesn't take you out of the movie.
No.
It's just showing, and once again, it's not showing anything crazy or it's not showing anything frightening. It's just it's taking you inside the camp in the modern day and not showing the atrocities. So
Hmm.
it's letting you know where he worked. It's letting you know where all the boots were collected. It's letting you know where all all the photos showcase the people who died. It's a it's a way to get you inside without showing the atrocities, and it's
Right.
brilliant. It's just it's showing how people are just going about their day working in this horrifying place, like filled with ghosts, just like horrible screams.
Hmm.
And I think it's important to keep it alive, but I think you need to get us in there. You need to show us, but not in a what's the word? What's the word? What's the word?
It doesn't need to be scored by John Williams or
Yeah,
something
yeah,
like that.
exactly. Yeah,
Some
yeah.
sentimental to it's like
Um,
I think that's totally played without sound, that whole sequence. Yeah.
And I mean, you just need to see it, and you need to see where it was,
Hmm.
and then cut back to him, and he's just retching, or no,
Well, it
or before that, yeah,
yeah, I was wondering about that, Mark, because this watching it the second time, I was like, it's almost like Glazer is having him look into his future, into his legacy. It's like
yes,
here you go, you son of a bitch. This is what you leave behind, you know.
he Christmas caroled him.
Yeah, basically. That's actually how I took it because it's like when he turns to look down that corridor, he's looking directly at the camera, and when we cut back to him, he's still like looking down, like he's seen this, like you said, Ebenezer Scrooge vision of Christmas future, kind of. And I'm guessing he probably had cancer or something, even though his physician, his physical didn't. He said he didn't have any problems at his physical. Because I was like, I'm thinking, no, he's not retching because he's sick of what he's doing. He's retching because he probably has something going on from inhaling the whatever
Ash,
whatever's going through the
yeah,
sky and landing in their backyard, whatever's creeping up, whatever runoff from the crematorium is creeping up that river that's next to them, probably all that stuff. So, and I kind of love how that ending, Mark, how it goes to black, and there's just this escalating musical drone that just keeps building and building and going up and up and up before any of the credits even start. It's just this very loud, intrusive sound, and I love that. I was just like, oh, you're just like, I'm sitting there shook kind of by the whole thing, and the music is just like rattling me even more. Yeah. I really liked what he did with that. I really liked the choices he made with that.
just how you. No, you're really smart. Like you're right. Though he looks down the camera and then just sees it, and yeah, the way it gets out of there with the music. I mean, it's music bookends this film really well,
Hmm.
or
Yes.
or noises or sound. Ugh. You know what's
Um,
it? Can I just one more thing?
please, please. Yeah, I actually have one
Like,
more thing too. Then,
oh yeah,
so
go for it, and then I'll jump in.
Mark, and maybe this might be a lighter thing we could discuss with this movie. That poor dog Dilla. How do you feel about Dilla, who is like omnipresent in the movie, yet nobody seems to have any affection for him? He goes largely, or she maybe goes largely ignored unless, you know, Hedwig sees her getting up on a table or getting into her plants or something, you know.
This family's not warming up to anything.
No,
uh,
no.
uh, well, man, Hedwig is a monster.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I think it's just protection, right? Noise and barking, and yeah, they do
There,
not give that thing any. It's a good dog. It's a good
yeah.
dog. But
Yeah.
yeah, it does not get much love, does it? It walks by
No.
the kid when he's smooching with the lady, and yeah, it's
Yeah.
always around, and then just getting kicked out.
Well, maybe to that end, Mark, it's a little different, but um, Angret, the baby girl, maybe sort of with her, Glazer is kind of doing maybe another subtle thing. She is constantly crying throughout the
Oh
movie.
yeah, and that lady's drunk. She's
Yeah.
watching her
Oh, yeah, and I wasn't even sure who that was during that sequence where I couldn't. I guess it might have been one of the servants. I
like a
don't know.
night nurse or something. Yeah.
Yeah, and she's like drinking vodka, but maybe that that constant cry, kind of like the Eraserhead baby in a way, is kind of the one outcry from the family in a way. You know, she's a baby, so of course she's going to cry a lot, but she cries even when Hedwig tries to show her a flower or something like that. She's just like almost always crying,
Just
you
an
know.
evil place, man.
It's
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 just
it's it's no place for children, that's for sure. And
the
it's
noise and the just the fear. Hedwig's busy in the garden. You
yeah.
know, uh, yeah, that baby is man.
It's like in a weird way, I felt bad for that baby because the baby,
Well, I felt bad for the kids because you're
yeah,
just indoctrined. You are legitimately indoctrined into it.
yeah,
And like
no independent thought. Yeah,
Haas is like a he built up into it too. Like he was hearing his journey is kind of crazy. And you know what? I like that they don't explore like his. He got
backstory.
and like
Yeah.
also while at the camp he got other women pregnant. And, like he was a horrifying
Ugh,
human being.
ugh.
But I think to portray him like that, like they show his extramarital affairs.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you can't show in. Yeah, he was hung in 87 or 47. But
Hmm.
yeah, with the baby, I just think yeah, the kids in it, like they have no chance. Like these kids are
Yeah.
they grew up in just hate, pure hate. And man,
Yeah.
yeah, that poor
Yeah.
baby. And
No.
that night nurse, yeah, like but I like the cracks in the armor that they showed.
Hmm.
Like just watching just watching her, the night nurse, just hating life, just drinking and being terrible. Hating, like just being miserable. And you know, when Rudolph stops for a moment when it's quiet, that's when he sees the future. So like I think
Yeah.
they all know. Like, well, maybe not Hedwig, because Hedwig blocks everything down so deep and
Well,
just wants her house.
yeah, she's so consumed by just either just keeping things the way they are, if not advancing in some way while keeping her property. Yeah. It's almost a very like it's almost like a, I don't want to say it's like a very rednecky thing. It's like the guy who sits outside his trailer with a gun. It's like, yeah, you want to step up, I'm going to shoot you or something like that. This is my land. This is my property. You know, you can't take me away from my property. I don't know.
She didn't want to leave. Like, they were talking about the city. They didn't have much money. Like
Hmm.
they're new money. The only
Yeah,
reason they have that house is because he's murdering thousands of people. So I think she doesn't want that. She knows wherever else they go, they won't have that. Like
true.
he won't have the money to go. They won't have Polish slave, yeah,
Servants. Yeah,
servants. They won't
yeah.
have that. They won't have the money for that. This is her best life.
Hmm.
And she didn't marry this horrifying murderer to not have a garden
Yeah.
and not have a wall. She's like, yeah, we put vines over the walls, we can ignore it. Like they
Yeah.
want to just ignore the wall.
Yeah.
And I think, yeah, I think it's new money. I think she wouldn't have this if it was not for this. And
Hmm.
so I wonder how she knows what he's doing in there, but I doubt she ever goes in as well. Like, I bet you she is just like, I want this life. You go do whatever you have to do,
To keep it, yeah,
and
to
I
keep it
want
this way.
this life.
Yeah.
Um, and I mean, a lot of people will do that, man and women. Like they want that life, and
Hmm.
they will ignore things for that. Oh, I didn't know that. I think you. I'm not saying people don't know if you're married to a serial killer, you don't know. Like I'm not blaming that. Like, but she's literally married to a mass murderer and she knows it. But I think she just blocks it so far off because she's like, I want my garden. I want to have power. She had power over those poor Polish girls.
Yeah.
So that's the life. It really is, man. Like it's not going to get any better for her.
Yeah.
And
It's
so that's the life, the power.
yeah.
That's what I take it as.
Oh, yeah. No, that's good, Mark. Absolute power corrupts absolutely, as they say. You know.
I mean, these people were corrupted. Like these people were indoctrined. These people were if you should really should read the Garden of Beasts. Like it's a very
I wrote
interesting read.
I wrote it down,
Okay,
so yeah,
cool.
yeah, it sounds good.
It didn't just happen overnight. Like just the violence and anti-Semitism around the world. Uh, yeah, it's crazy. Hey, so do you have any other thoughts? I have an idea for a draft.
Of course, of course you do, Mark. I just had one interesting
Okay.
comment that I noticed this time around. I was like wondering why there was so much attention to antlers in the foyer of the chateau, and then you see a bunch in the main hall of that building that
Mm-hmm.
Rudolph is in at the end, and I was like, oh my God, it's this very subtle. Well, if you notice it, it's this very subtle way of it's like another trophy, you know. Like
Oh,
we see the stuff sorry, I want to call her Helga, but Hedwig is taking, what's being brought to her from the people who get killed in the camps, um for her to rifle through, and Klaus, the older son, is one at one point
gold
under
teeth.
his blanket looking at gold teeth that have been extracted from prisoners. And it's just I was just like kind of struck by that. I was like, oh, okay, here, what do we, when in America people hunt game, and they'll sometimes, my grandfather had the head of a buck mounted in his living room. So it was just kind of another one of those little touches that's like I was noticing that, and I was like, oh, it's just another thing that kind of made me think about how it tied in with
That's brilliant.
with
Yeah, I
everything
mean that's
else.
their
Yeah.
trophies. Like until they had all the hunting trophies at the lodge,
Hmm.
and they're holding on to their trophies. Like Hedwig's never getting that coat had it not been stolen from a
No,
monk.
no.
Um, and the mom's talking about the sale that they had of the people that like lived next to them.
Oh God, yeah.
And just everyone was getting turned on. Everyone was like really, it was horrifying,
Hmm.
and it led to evil. And so yeah, just man, but her putting on that lipstick that she found in the pocket of like just an obvious dead woman
Yeah.
and just casually doing it, it's just
How, oh,
mm.
that's so chill. Yeah, it's chilling. That, yeah.
it, it's like the guy's a mass murderer, but like I feel like we spend more time with Hedwig being horrible.
Hmm. We do
um
actually. Yeah.
and so the guy is clearly a mass murderer, but like he's getting his children out of the water so they don't get people he killed dust on them.
Yeah.
He's talking to missing his children, like his wife is telling him, you need to leave because I'm staying here.
Yeah,
uh,
exactly. Yeah.
uh
Do what I say. Yeah.
oh man.
It's like this is going to be an odd reach, Mark, and I promise I'll be done after this, but it's almost like in Halloween Ends, when Michael kind of transfers evil into Corey in that weird exchange. What is to say about, you're married to a mass murderer, and he's probably, through subtle or overt ways, transmuting his personality, his beliefs, his evil. Kind of, it's kind of like this spread it to your wife, who's the mother of your kids. It's all your DNA, kind of. I don't know.
He's so blasé about it that it
Yeah.
almost normalizes it.
Yeah, that's scary.
Like,
That's
you never see him have an outburst. You never see him screaming at his children. They probably know better.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I mean, dad's going to work, and then he comes back, hey, children. So you're kind of
Yeah. Dad's
Y-
home.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, so I think he would. I think he would make normalize it for you because he plays it so, you know, he doesn't seem affected.
Hmm. Yeah.
Oh, geez Louise.
Well, and sometimes it's like in a job, quote unquote. If you're in a job long enough, and there's certain, again, I'll say this as a civil servant. If there's certain bullshit you have to deal with on a bureaucratic side of things, or whatever professional side of things, you find ways of sort of getting your mind around it, kind of sort of as a self-preservation method. It's like, well, I can take X, Y, and Z because I'm used to it.
Well,
Because these are things I've encountered before. But yeah, it's
well,
so
I mean,
I'm saying I don't freak out a whole lot, but yeah.
when you work at like a for-profit university that just will pass kids and they don't want to fail them because they need their
Mm,
money, you
hmm.
you
Yeah.
just got to help the students you can. Because if
Right.
you try to really think about what's happening,
Oh yeah.
you're if you're just realizing that you're just getting kids for financial aid and you're passing them with no education because you want their money, and if you fail them, they probably won't come back. That's not good. You really do need to compartmentalize what's going on.
See, that's a crisis of conscience, which which separates or separates this person from from being a Haas, being a
Yeah.
Rudolph or a Hedwig, you know.
And like, life is made up, I think, by a lot of small decisions. I think at once you're not like, oh, this is it. Like
Hmm.
I think if you lie once, then you lie again, or you lie again, or you start fantasizing, you start fantasizing. Like, I think it never starts a lot. You just keep doing more and more and more. Then you like normalize it, then it becomes a habit.
Hmm.
And I think a
Yeah.
lot of that happened out there. So
Yeah. Yeah. It's
yikes.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, great.
Oh,
I mean, it's an excellent movie. Like I said,
yeah.
and like you've said several times, it's like it did win an Oscar, but I still feel like it is sort of, and it got so much praise, but I still feel like it is kind of like this little almost secret movie in a way, in its own way, because
Yeah.
it does things, it goes about things so differently than we're used to seeing them.
I love this movie. We did it, Johnny.
We did. Mark, I'm proud of us.
I
We
think
did it.
we did it.
Yeah.
Now, real quick, I know you got to get out here. Let's
Yeah.
do an A24 feel good squad that'll just make people not feel great. So, we pick A24 movies that if you're like, hey guys, let's watch all five of these.
Ooh.
Great films, but everyone's gonna leave just like, uh,
This could be challenging. Yeah.
I'm gonna go first
Yeah.
to give you time. I'm taking First Reformed.
Oh, you son of a gun, Hoffmeyer. Okay. Well, I'll see your first reformed and go a green room on you.
Oh man, that's a gnarly
It's a
bugger.
it's a feel good movie. Yeah.
I'm gonna take The Killing of a Sacred Deer
Oh, good one.
because that one you just watch it and you're like, oh my goodness.
Oh, yeah. I'm gonna keep picking. Well, they're all bangers, as the kids are fond of saying these days. I'm gonna go with the Black Coat's Daughter, my man.
Oh, I was about to do that.
Oh, and,
Perfect
and it,
movie.
and it's almost winter time, so it's time to watch that movie again.
That there's humanity and sadness in that film, but it's just so crushing.
It's such like a beautiful, dour and unsettling movie. Yeah.
Okay. So we're going for like, I need to go for
I'm trying to think of A24 movies. I need to think.
climax.
Oh, good one. See, I just climaxed as you said that, Mark. So that's a
Ugh.
good. Oh, that is a movie that, yeah, that got under my skin too. Yeah,
It's
really.
still it's still there.
Oh, that's a great movie. Yeah. I watched this recently and I'm still trying to muddle through my thoughts on it. I think there is this real melancholy that the more I think about it, the more I appreciate in I Saw the TV Glow.
Oh yeah.
I think that movie, I mean, that might be one we should talk about
Yeah.
sometime, but it's just, I think it has a lot of things to say about coming of age and, the things we believe in as kids and our perception of things as kids and teenagers. And if we choose to grow up, how our perception changes, how we Yeah, there's a lot of I think there's a lot of rich thematic territory in that movie to be explored. But yeah, I saw the TV Glow.
I love it.
Yeah.
Great pick. Great music.
Yeah, that
I,
too.
I'm gonna go with the Iron Claw because it's just death. It's like a series of unfortunate events that'll just punch you in the face for 2 hours. Okay, no wait, what's your
I,
fourth pick?
I've got, and I'm sorry, Mark, I got to cheat. I'm going onto the wiki page because I can't remember all the.
I've been on it.
Okay, well, thank you. That makes me feel better. Oh my gosh.
Men.
Oh no, and I'm keep going down the list, and I'm like, oh my gosh, all of these. A movie I want to watch again, which could also qualify for our feel good series, is uh Denis Villeneuve's Enemy.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
That's a great movie.
Yeah, that one will get you.
Yeah,
We should go back to that.
that's a good mind messer upper movie.
Oh man, The Witch. That's a mind messer upper. Just baby
Oh yeah.
goo.
Oh, that's a depressing movie too. It's a depressing, isolating, isolating movie.
Okay, I got one left. I really gotta hit y'all hard with something to just Saint Maud didn't really get me that bad. Let's see.
Yeah, I found that one actually pretty. I really love that movie, but
Yeah.
it is kind of palatable in its own way. So,
You know what? I'm just gonna leave everyone walking out on men just for that finale. Just
oh my gosh, yeah.
so everyone has to watch First Reform, Killing of a Sacred Deer, Climax, The Iron Claw, and then leave on men.
Oh my gosh, Men is. You know what? I thought that was great. That
Mhm.
movie was just such a so messed up.
Megan still talks about it all the time. She loved it.
Well, and it wasn't like, it wasn't the type of movie I thought Alex Garland was going to make some incendiary thing about like cancel culture and the Me Too movement, and that is totally not what that movie is at all.
Mm-mm.
It's pretty like, oh my gosh. It's just so wild. Okay, I had my last one. And this one's a bit of a sleeper, and this is another one I could see us talking about all these A24 movies, obviously. But High Life, Claire Denis.
Oh yeah.
It's basically a kids in prison movie in space.
Oh man, that one goes there too.
Oh yeah, it's so good.
You're trapped up there.
Robert Pattinson, and again, people who say Robert Pattinson is just the Twilight guy, see this movie, please. He is so good in it.
Yeah, you've only watched Twilight movies, and if that's what you
I
think
mean,
he
I was
is.
like, he's done so many good, like, serious movies since Twilight. So anyway,
Perfect. I love it. Well,
yeah.
Johnny Num, where can people find you before we get out of here?
If you want to read my writing, go over to johnnynum.com where I post movie reviews. Lately, it's mostly been movie reviews, but sometimes I write a bit abstractly about what's going on in my life to make people think about things, to sound very pretentious about it. You can also find me over on uh, the
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 bottomless pit.
yeah, I was gonna say the dumpster site of Twitter at Johnny Num. There's no H in that Johnny, and I'm also on Letterboxd at Johnny Num as well. So
Love it. And there's just no better place though right now. Like it's like
it's kind of the last refuge.
you're
Yeah.
like I'm gonna go to Threads. Never mind.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, I tried Blue Sky like back when it was still like in special invite only, and I was like, it seems like everybody is just copying over their tweets
yes.
into threads, and I'm like, I don't have time to build another following on another site where people are mostly just copying from another site. I just no. I can't let social media suck away more time than it already has from my life. So yeah.
I love it. Well, Johnny, we did it. We
We
took a
did.
break with Ghost of Mars. Now we're back with Zone of Interest. So
Yeah, I would say that's a lesson in contrasts right there.
all right.
They're tearing the whole camp apart, building by building.
Hedwig's like, get my
Yeah,
fur.
and no, you know what would have been cool in the zone of interest. No, I'm being facetious, but if Ice Cube had come out at some point with
Start shooting
with
people.
with with double gunning it through that chateau, wiping out that Nazi scum. Yeah.
Just tags, 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 Hedwig.
Yeah. shot between the eyes while she's trying on another fur coat. Yeah.
That reminds me of Monty Python when the knight comes out and just starts killing people. You know what I'm talking about? And like reporters and stuff out of the middle of nowhere,
Oh yeah, yeah.
but it's Ice Cube with two guns.
I could imagine redoing the Black Knight scene, only it's Ice Cube just blowing his limbs off with the Ghosts of Mars guns, and then eventually he just like sneers and walks away.
Yeah.
I ain't got time for this. You dead.
Come back here. Come back. Oh,
You're dead, man. Anyway. Anyway.
This was,
Uh,
dude. Thank you, Johnny. This was wonderful. We didn't have funny rants, but I don't think Zone of Interest is a funny rant episode.
No, I think whatever we talk about next probably will be
Yeah.
much easier to kind of settle into the feel good groove that we're more accustomed to.
Oh, hey, Hedwig. Yeah.
Oh, they do it like the Natural Born Killers
Oh,
sequence. That's a parody of I Love Lucy.
oh, and Rodney Dangerfield comes out as like a
it, and,
gross father.
and there's the laugh track and oh my god, yeah, yeah.
Zone of Interest with a laugh track.
Oh god, no.
No. All right. Well, hey, Johnny, thanks for joining me.
Thank you so much, Mark. It was a good show. Thank you.
All right. So for me, Mark Hoffmeyer, for Johnny Num, this is Movies Films and Flicks. We'll see you next week.